All right, what up, guys? We're at the baseball convention, day 2. I'm here with Jenkins Baseball. Tell a little about yourself, Jenk.
I run the account Ian Jenkins _hitting, and essentially I just literally posted all the stuff that I've ever learned about hitting on all my socials. Like I literally just, my dad and I flew all over the country, like learned about different things because we were absolutely obsessed with it. It's like been our pastime, honestly. And I flew to all these like different hitting gurus, and I tried all of this stuff, and I was never more confused after I saw all of the best hitting coaches in the world. So that's where the saying "I failed so you don't have to" is, because I've literally tried the kitchen sink. I've tried it all, and what I just try to do online is try to guide and push people in the right directions. All I'm saying is I know what doesn't work. I know what I failed with. Just don't do the same thing I did, because I already went through it. You don't have to.
What is the biggest failure you see that's most common in these kids that's coming up?
Yeah, so basically what I see is most kids just lack confidence, and the reason why they lack confidence is because it's not having adequate preparation. They get to the plate and they overthink, and all these things go through their head. And I tell them this, and when you kind of switch your perspective, you're like, oh, it makes sense. So I ask them okay, what's your favorite subject in school? And they'll be like, math. All right, math is your favorite subject. If you study for that test adequately, if you know the information like the back of your hand, when you go to the test, you're not nervous. You have full confidence and conviction in your answers. Why? Because you're adequately prepared. So most of these guys just aren't working hard enough, and if they are working hard enough, they're not working on the right things, which is almost as bad as not working at all, right? So doing the right things off the field will give you the conviction in yourself to just shut off your brain on the field and go, if that makes sense.
The confidence, you could have the best swing ever, but if you go up to the plate and you think the pitcher's getting you out, you're getting out.
Absolutely.
You got to go with that confidence, and what you're saying, the confidence comes from the preparation, the work you put in. That's how you build confidence as a player. You put the work in, you trust it, now you become confident, and you start raking at the plate. When you're getting the coaching tips, did you ever have something that just finally clicked where you're like, I never thought about it that way, but I like the way you're thinking?
So one thing that I noticed is the worst thing that I could ever do is sit right there and tell a kid what to do. I know that sounds crazy because I'm the coach, but the best thing that I could do is listen, because I tell this to everybody, the information is not the separator. You can go and Google the kinematic sequence and understand how the body sequences energy from the ground up and learn all the movements. That's not the separator. You can find that information. The separator is the application of that information, and the only way that information can be applied effectively is through effective communication. What does that boil down to? Understanding how the player thinks and operates. So if I can just sit back, watch them operate, ask them questions, get to learn about them, understand how they turn actions into words, they essentially provide the compass for me to best teach them. So that was an aha moment for me. It was okay, being a coach is not barking orders. Being a coach is listening, understanding where the player is, how they think, and catering your message to that so you can point them in the right direction.
Right. I coach a couple teams here in Vegas, and I feel like that's the biggest thing is finding out what message gets to what kids, because some kids react differently to a way you say something, and some kids react really well to mellow tone and kind of guiding them through it, and some kids react more to no, that's not how we do it here, you need to focus, things like that. What's your normal way of approaching it? How do you normally set your standards when you're doing a hitting lesson?
So literally, let's say if I were to first have a lesson with a kid for the first time, I will not say anything for 45 minutes. I will not tell them to do anything for 45 minutes. I will just ask them questions. What were you trying to feel here? What were you thinking when you did that? And each time, they'll tell me, okay, this is my thought process, and I could see what the feel was, so I can see what the real was, so I understand the feel, I can match it with the real. I'm like, okay, now I need to kind of move this over here, I need to say it like this, and it's super funny. If you have a group of 3 or 4 kids, and you tell them, let's say you all tell them to do the same thing, they will all interpret it slightly differently, and that action will be slightly different. So kind of just going back to the same thing, it's it's the same with anything. You got to get to know the person on a personal level. So just asking them questions about what they're trying to do, why they're trying to do it, and why they think it's the right thing. And if you can kind of get down to that, you know exactly which direction to push the kid.
When you're making your program, do you tailor it to each kid? Do you make it personalized to what their swing is and what they're seeing?
Dude, 100%. So the only thing that we do not personalize in the program is the sprinting stuff. Why? Because I have a 3-time world champion and a 2-time silver medalist Olympian doing the sprint stuff, and it seems like all the same stuff works from that end.
Right.
But as far as weightlifting, we determine what the player's force velocity profile is. tailor the program to that profile, constantly test, reassess to make sure that everything's pushed them in the right direction. Like the data submission and reassessing is the most important because we're trying to fix that force velocity profile. So it's going to be kind of going like this. If we can constantly get information on where their train is pushing them, we can completely avoid the plateaus. Same thing with the hitting end. These kids probably get tired of me asking them question after question after question, but it's only helping me guide them better. So it's just like for hitting, for instance, we'll get a swing breakdown, right? I'll see all the movements, and then I'll talk to the kid. I'll figure out, all right, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And then from there, I will make a set of drills based off the inefficiencies that I find in their movement pattern and with how they think, if that makes sense. And like how I cater those drills to them or explain those drills to them, we base off of how I think they receive information the best.
Good. That's great. All right, where can they find you if they're looking for some good training and with baseball?
Absolutely. So you can find me, Ian Jenkins _hitting, on Instagram, on YouTube, Ian Jenkins Baseball.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I'm here with Jenkins, and we're Faithletics at the baseball convention. We'll catch you next time.